Hi everyone, and today in this video we are going to read about one of the very interesting company in the defense segment, and the name is Data Patterns. So I would suggest you to watch the whole video because there are some data points which I'm very sure many people don't know that why this company is different and might be better than the other companies in the defense segment. So just a quick reminder that this is not a buy or sell recommendation. So let's start with the report. So Data Patterns is vertically integrated defense and aerospace company, and it is one of the very few Indian defense companies which is focused on 100% in-house capabilities. Their design capabilities is present across all the spectrums. We can see that it provides solutions like the processor, power, radio frequency and microwave, embedded software and firmware, and mechanical engineering. So let's take a small look at their history. So company was incorporated as the name of the Indus Techsite Private Limited in 1998 in Bangalore, and the company changed their name to Data Patterns India in 2021. They also have their application in different programs like the Tejas Light Combat Aircraft, the Light Utility Helicopter, the BrahMos missile program, the Precision Approach Radars, and also in the communication and electronic intelligence. If we take a quick look at the shareholding pattern, so currently promoters have 42.41%, FIs are holding 12.75%, DIs are 7.36%, and public is 37.47%. So earlier public had more holding whereas FI had less holding, but we can see that FI have started to increase their holding in this company. Now if we take a look at the industry overview, so currently in the Indian defense sector there is an opportunity of 8.6 to 10.3 lakh crores over the next 5 to 6 years. Then if we take a look at the global defense electronic market size, so it is currently 15 lakh crores, which is expected to grow at 5.8 CAGR to 26.4 lakh crores till FY34. And the last point is that the government is aiming to treble the annual defense production, and also they're expecting to more than double their exports to 500 billion by FY29. Now if we take a quick look at the image I have attached on the right hand side, so these are the products they are currently offering. So the first product they are offering is the commercial off the shelf, which is used in the building military electronic systems. Then they also provide avionic displays which is used on the light combat aircraft, jet trainers, and the utility helicopters. Then they also have communication satellite, the fire control system. Then they also have electronic warfare, which is used in the communication and the electronic intelligence. And lastly, the radar. And now let's come to the next segment where we will do a peer comparison of all the companies in the defense sector, and we will get to know from that data point that why Data Patterns is unique compared to other companies. So here we can see that these are the competitors in the defense segment, and if we take a look at the FY26 forecasted valuations, so Data Patterns have a forward EPS of 48.8 in FY26, whereas if we take a look at HAL, it is 137, and for BEML, it is 117. Next, if we take a look at the forward PE, so Data Patterns have 47.3 in FY26, Hindustan Aeronautics have 31, and if we take a look at the Garden Reach, they have 27.5 of forward PE. And lastly, if we take a look at the ROE, so the forward ROE for Data Patterns is 16.4, whereas for HAL it's 25.6, for Zentech it is 39, which is very high, for Bharat Electronics it is 26.2, and for Bharat Dynamics it is 26.4. So after reading this data point, we can say that the other companies are doing much better forward valuation wise compared to Data Patterns. But here comes the interesting data point I have attached on the right hand side. So these are all the products which are offered by the defense companies in this industry, and if we take a look at Data Patterns, so they have presence in all the products. Like if we take a look at the testing part, the nano and micro satellites, the avionics, the fire control system, the SATCOM, the communication, and the radar part. But if we take a look at other companies, so here we can see that either they might have the medium capability in that offering product, or they don't even have the product in their portfolio. And now let's come to the next part where we will see the revenue segments in this company. So here we can see that the first revenue segment is the production, the second is the development part, and third is the service part. So here if we take a look in FY24, 54% consisted of the production part, and if we compare that with FY25, so the revenue segment has not been changed as of now, and we can see that it is still the same, like 53% in the production, 43% in the development, and 4% in the servicing part. And in FY25, they had a revenue of 708 crores. And now let's take a look at the image I have attached on the right hand side. So here if we take a look at the product they are offering, so we can see that 60% consists of the radar part and 19.7% consists of the electronic warfare part. And if we take a look at the customers they are offering their products, so 55.3% they are offering to the defense research, and 27.3% consists to the defense public sector, whereas the Ministry of Defense consists of 9% of all the customers. And now let's go to the next segment where we will do the financial analysis. So in FY25 they had a revenue of 708 crores, and in FY27 it is expected to be around 1210 crores. If we take a look at their EBITDA, which is currently 275 crores, it is expected to be around 460 crores. And lastly, if we take a look at their PAT, which is currently 221 crores, it is expected to be around 345 crores. Currently, they have an EPS of 39.6, which is expected to be around 61.8 in FY27. So here, we can clearly see that they are growing more than 25% each year till FY27. And even if we take a look at their balance sheet, so they have reserves of 1500 crores, whereas they have zero borrowings. And now let's do ratio valuations for data patterns. So here we can see that in FY25 it is currently trading at a PE of 74 and their forward PE is 47.5. If we take a look at their EV by EBITDA, which is currently 59.2, it is expected to be around 35.3 in FY27, which is very good number. And if we take a look at their EPS, ROE and EBITDA growth, so EPS growth is more than 20% all over the years. If we take a look at their ROE, it is currently 15.7 and it is expected to be 18.6 in FY27. And lastly, if we take a look at their EBITDA growth, so it is more than 25% till FY27. So here we can clearly see that data patterns is going to grow very fast in the coming few years. And now let's come to the next segment where we will see the current orders they have and the value of their orders. So here we can see that in Q4 FY25 in the AMC, which is the Avionic Maintenance Center part, they have 14 crore of order book as of now, and the customer for this order is the Ministry of Defense, which is one of the biggest order compared to all the other customers. And on the right hand side, if we take a look at the major orders in FY25, so in the electronic warfare, the customer is the defense public sector and the value of the order is 79 crores. And if we take a look at the radar, which is from the Ministry of Defense, it consists of 53 crores. And lastly, if we take a look at the avionics, which is the export customer, they consist of 53 crores of the order book. And now let's take a look at some of the major programs in the defense segment. So this is the list of the major programs they currently have. And the first one is the LCA Tejas, which is estimated to be around 2000 billion INR. If we take a look at the AMCA, it is currently consisting of 1100 billion INR. And lastly, if we take a look at the project 17B, it is consisting of 700 billion INR. And now let's go to the next segment where we will see the key details discussed during the management con call. So if we take a look at their Q4 con call details, so the first point they have discussed about is the gross margins which came under pressure is because they have some low margin projects and the company has said that they have taken up those projects strategically for the future. Then they have said that their order inflows were low, but that will be recognized in the next few quarters. Then next they have talked about the exports which they have done in the Europe and the East Asia this year. Also, they have delivered 9 transportable precision radars to the Navy and Army. And the last point company has mentioned about the financial metric is that they are maintaining 25 to 30% revenue growth, and in operating profit margin wise, it will be around 35 to 40%. And lastly, they have said that 20% bottom line growth is expected in FY26. Now after discussing all the good data points of the company, so let's take a look at some of the risk in the company. So the first point, they have said that winning tender from the government entities is actually very difficult, and that's why we can see that they took some low margin projects. The next point, they have said that the projects span around 12 to 18 months, and because of this reason huge working capital is required and that might affect their cash flow. Then the next point they have talked about is the payment delays, the decreased advance payment and the higher inventories and work in progress have actually impacted their cash flow negatively. And the last point is they're facing high competition from the companies like L&T, BEL, Mahindra Defense System, the Astra Micro Products, then Alpha Design Tech, the Mistral Solutions and the Core EI Tech. And now let's come to the last segment where we will do the technical analysis. So here we can see that the company got listed in December 2021 and now currently it is trading at a price of 2,900 rupees. So last year the company made an all-time high of 3,600 crores, and after that and since August 2024 the stock price has been declining. Even our markets declined from August 2024 till March 2025. But now after reading all the data points, we can expect that the company might do good in the coming future. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this detailed analysis of data patterns was helpful, and write down in the comment section that what do you feel about the company. Until then, see you in the next video.